right, Jenny, so we're gonna measure your wrist in flexion, extension, radial deviation, and ulnar deviation, okay? All right, so for the first one, I'm gonna want you to flex your wrist. All right, so you have about 65 degrees in passive range of motion, or active range of motion, and then I'm gonna push you in passive, okay? All right, so you have about 70 in active. All right, Jenny, so for this one, we're gonna do extension of your wrist, okay? So I'm gonna have you extend your wrist backwards. All right, so you have about 75 degrees, and then I'm gonna, for active, and then I'm gonna push you into passive. So you have about the same. For this one, I'm gonna have you radially deviate your wrist. So I just want you to turn your wrist in like that. Awesome job. So I'm gonna line it up here. All right, so you have about 30 degrees of active range of motion. I'm gonna push you into passive, okay? So you have about 35 degrees passive. So next we're gonna do ulnar deviation. I'm gonna restart this. All right, so can you move your wrist this way as much as you can? All right, so you have about 25 degrees of active range of motion, and I'm gonna push you into passive, okay? So really I can't push you anymore, so you have about the same. For this one, I'm gonna have you extend your wrist and just relax your fingers, okay? All right, extend your wrist for me. All right. So for that, you have about 80 degrees of extension and active, and then I'm gonna push you a little bit into passive, okay? Just like that. And really you have just about the same, okay? So we're gonna do flexion this time. So, all right, so I'm gonna have you flex your wrist as much as you can. All right, so you have about 70 degrees of active, and then I'm gonna push you into passive. So I would say you probably have about 80 in passive. Next, we're gonna do some manual muscle tests on your wrist. So we're gonna do flexion and extension again, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna extend your wrist up, and let's just see how far you can go that way. All right, awesome job. So for this one, I'm gonna just put some resistance, okay? So I want you to bring your wrist up just a little bit, not all the way. All right, and then don't let me move you, okay? Ready? Go. All right, awesome job. So I'm gonna have you do that again, and I'm just gonna palpate some muscles, okay? All right, good job. So for this one, I want you to put your hand supine, and you're just gonna flex your wrist. All right, good job. And we're gonna do that again, and I'm gonna stabilize your arm, and then you'll come up just a little bit, and then don't let me move you, okay? All right. And I wanna have you do that one more time, and I'm gonna palpate the muscles, okay? All right. Good job. Jenny, so we're gonna just palpate some muscles in gravity neutral, okay? So I'm gonna have you flex your wrist. All right, and do it one more time. All right, good job. And then I'm gonna have you extend your wrist, okay? And I'm gonna do the same thing. All right, go ahead. All right, good job.